Now, former President Thabo Mbeki says until there's lasting peace in the Horn of Africa, parts of Sahel Region and the Great Lakes, Africa has no reason to celebrate this moment. He was delivering the closing remarks at the three-day African Peace and Security Dialogue. This happened in Magaliesburg on the west. Now, the annual gathering brings together like-minded persons to discuss and share best practices and develop practical solutions to peace and security challenges on the continent. Mbeki added that for Africa to unite, transformation and prosper, its leaders as well as citizens will also need to have their minds shifted, considering the many decades of colonization and the continued Anglo-Franco influence in some governments.
The Horn of Africa is developing in a negative way. If you look at Somalia, the Al-Shabaab is sitting all over Somalia, right up to the boundaries of Mogadishu. And indeed, the people have said to me that even the government of Somalia really, in terms of Mogadishu, is confined to what is called the green zone. People have talked about tensions that have arisen between Ethiopia and Eritrea, which may break out into war, or problems that have arisen among the Tigrayans. So I'm saying, colleagues, if you look at the matter practically about what is happening in the Horn of Africa, the signals are negative. But you can't just interpret the thing and say, how do we change it? So one of the things that is going to happen is that this panel of ours, which was mandated many years ago to deal with the Horn of Africa, we are going to submit a new report to the African Union in order to give it the possibility to the African Union to resume the discussion about the future of the Horn of Africa, which has died. So I'm saying the practical reality about the Horn is that the Horn of Africa is moving in the wrong direction with regard to all of these matters that were taught about disintegration, peace, stability, and all that. Sudan is at war. South Sudan is whatever South Sudan is doing. Somalia is at war. All over the place. One of our colleagues mentioned that Djibouti is hosting so many bases there, Chinese, American, this and that and the other. As this dialogue, we say we have interpreted the Horn in these various ways. What is it that we do to change it? And in my view, to change the Horn is not only to deal with the Horn as a whole, but also to deal with its individual component parts.
And SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo spoke to Thembisa Fakude, who's a senior researcher at Africa-Asia Dialogues, about the importance of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation African Peace and Security Dialogue.
Well, indeed, a very crucial moment in Magaliesburg. It's indeed a very last day of this Africa Peace and Security Dialogue. Of course, under the tutelage of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, a number of speakers, diplomats, the security experts, and also policymakers, and also researchers really looking at the issues pertaining to peace and security, looking at that very volatile situation in the eastern part of the DRC, but also looking at Cabo Delgado as well in northern part of Mozambique, but really to look at the importance of such platforms. We're joined here by Thembisa Fakude, of course, a senior researcher with AfroCID. So once again, sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Lovely. So, Mr. Fakude, first of all, such engagement, to know that peace and security is absolutely fundamental to see development, to see progress. Let's look at the importance of such engagements.
I think it's important because it highlights the hotspots in Africa and what needs to be done. But for me, the important part of this is the addition of the word peace instead of just security. We heard this morning about the Department of Defense in the United States changing to Department of War. And that should be worrying. And we have Africans at the same time being constructive and talking about both security and peace. And I think the new role of the middle powers, like South Africa and other BRICS members in the developing world, will play a crucial role in terms of shaping our future.
And also this comes at a time of the geopolitical shifts. We're looking at the recent tariffs coming from the US because, you know, when you talk about security and peace, I think it brings quite a number of issues to the fore, whether you're looking at climate change. But once again, while we have you, sir, let's look at now these developments from the US. All of this happens with South Africa's G20 presidency. We've heard from the US President Donald Trump that he won't be coming to South Africa. Nothing surprising, but we're hoping to have a very seamless transition. Your reading to this?
Well, for some of us, we knew that he wasn't going to come because there's certainly going to be a pushback in the form of protest in South Africa regarding Donald Trump. South Africans, particularly those that are involved in various wars, whether it's in Gaza and Ukraine, certainly we're going to be protesting, and Trump likes limelight, and this was going to steal the limelight away from him. And that's why you have him saying he's going to be sending J.D. Vance, not even Marco Rubio, who will be more relevant in this instance, but basically snubbing G20. And I think after that announcement, we can regard as the forthcoming G20 as a low-fare affair.
Before we let you go, sir, when you talk about the hotspots in the continent, we know South Africa with the eastern part of Congo, it's been a major talking point here. South Africa has been very instrumental in terms of trying to bring long-lasting peace, but those attempts have not yielded results. So do you think such engagements really are very key in making sure that we do see peace exist in the Horn of Africa, in the eastern parts of Congo, and other areas, including Sudan, of course, where it's a massive humanitarian crisis?
No, I don't think so. Well, these are good initiatives, but the real, serious, active stakeholders are not here. If you look at the DRC, for example, the Americans are heavily involved, Chinese heavily involved, and one would have expected that they would have been here, and they are not here. And so those are the people who continue shaping the politics of the region. In Sudan, you've got the Russians under the Wagner Group. You've got the two protagonists, Mr. Abdul Fattah al-Burhan and Hameti, who are also not here. So it's good that we're here talking about what should be happening, but the people that are supposed to be influenced and impacted by our discussions are not here, and unfortunately that I don't see that yielding any constructive kind of results.
All right. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Fakude, really just giving us these insights about the importance of this dialogue.